Okay, so about, I don't know, 50 minutes ago, I just got off a live broadcast or whatever on YouTube with Rob of Genesis Custom Sabers. He had announced last week that he was going out of business or stopping. He's pretty much left the hobby. He's no longer in business. He announced that last week, and there's a tremendous amount of outpouring of memories and congratulations and whatnot. And because of that, he held a live YouTube live from the shop, his last one, today or tonight, whatever the case may be. And it just ended about 20 minutes or so ago. And I was watching it, and while participating in it as well, it just got me thinking of how I got into the hobby and how much this hobby has changed. And it, to me, the hobby doesn't feel the same as it did when I first got into it back in late 2012. It was something really special, but now it just feels so saturated, because back then I think sabers were in a way sort of hard to come by. So when you did get a saber, or you got into a saber run, it was something special. It was something that you wouldn't want to miss, or sometimes you would miss it because of whatever reason. But when you got into a saber run, it was something special. Well, that's how I saw it anyway. That's how I felt. But nowadays, like I said, it's the market is so saturated with lightsabers. It just doesn't feel special anymore. And it's also one of the main reasons why I'm no longer in the hobby myself. I've pretty much officially stopped collecting. Even the last 4 or 5 years, I've been very particular on what sabers I would be acquiring. And if it was a saber that I really liked, I'd go for it. But anyway, Anyway, back to that the live YouTube thing with Rob. We were reminiscing about his sabers, and actually when I got into the hobby, I actually started with Ultra Sabers, because I was looking for Ben Kenobi's lightsaber from episode 1, and the first thing that popped up in Google was Ultra Sabers, the Guardian, and that's where I got my obsession, or I started my collection hobby, was with Ultra Sabers. And while I was into collecting their number of hilts, I obviously did some research and whatnot, and eventually found the FX Sabers forum, and with that, the what's it called, Imperial Royal Arms, now known as Elite, the Royal Armory. And having gone to those forums, the FX Sabers forums, I saw amazing sabers that totally blew Ultra Sabers hilts away. It was just, and one of the first ones I ever saw was when I was going through the forum, FX Sabers forum, was this particular hilt, and this was Rob's Koran horn, his version of the Koran horn. And back then I really didn't know much about Koran horn or that sort of thing, but anyway, I watched his videos and stuff that he did with this thing, the sandblasting stuff. That's something that Ultra Sabers we're not doing. So it was really unique. It was just, these guys here in this forum was just way ahead of Ultra Sabers in every aspect. So having seen this, it's like, okay, and it's because of having discovered this forum and the sabers that I saw there, particularly this one. Like I said, this one really caught my interest. I immediately stopped buying Ultra Sabers. I sold them off and went head on into collecting high-end, pseudo-high-end, mid-high-end lightsabers. And like I said, this is just a work of art. One of Rob's, his own take of Koran Horn's hilt. I don't know. Speeder hilt. Not too many sabers back then also had its own kill switch here. Right? It still has some old tech in it. So yeah, it was and obviously I went to Rob's website as well, and I found his Ascend, and you'll notice there in the background there are a bunch of sand sabers, because to me that was as soon as I saw it, to me it was the quintessential saber, or how a Jedi lightsaber would look like. So this one here. No, this was not the first one I bought. The first one I bought was obviously, I understand, the dark coated. I fortunately sold that one, because back then, when you're in the hobby, you buy sabers and you sell it to fund the next saber, to fund that need. But this one I bought off another collector on the FX Sabers forum, and I've had it ever since 2013. I've had this for quite a long time. Again, this was custom made for the individual. I forget his name. It's, like I said, it's been so long. And I used this saber for dueling. As far as I know, this is the only saber I use for dueling. I don't use the LED sabers. I just don't like flashing those pixel blades. But this is an in hilt LED. Oh, this is fun. I have a number of fonts in here. This is the blade. This is from what's his name? Oh, I forgot the guy's name. He no longer makes fonts, but he was one of the OGs. Anyway, the Ascend, very comfortable. And like I said, I have a number of those Ascend sabers because I love that. I love this design. It's a beautiful design. Let's see, got one here. This was a part of a run that he did. Dark side and light side. This was like a mix. This was my first ever etched. It's an Ascend as well with a shroud. I also have one down there. It's a mix of a Bad Axe and Ascend as well. But yeah, it's Rob was great. I love his designs. Um, and obviously, you have also the Bane Legend. I think that's his quintessential. His pièce de résistance, if you will. I'd actually gotten the Bane 16 from the second run, but I foolishly sold it and regretted it right away. So when Rob had announced the 2019 third run, but with improved design on the hilt overall, the interior and exterior, I jumped on it. So so I got lucky in that one. Because I knew that if Rob were to do another one, outside of the run, it would cost way too much. There's no way I would compete with those other guys trying to. It'd just be too much money. But in a run, it's more affordable. But yeah, the Bane Legend. It's just. What can you say? It's just beautiful, man. It's beautiful.
Darth Bane. Have you come to be my apprentice?
I'm not sure if this ashes, but that's
From the ashes of destruction,
it is.
I was the last survivor.
This is Rob's ashes.
Now you come before me. Now you come before me.
Yeah, I included a number of
From the ashes of destruction, I was the last survivor.
magnificent design. So pretty much getting involved in the FX Sabers forum really got me into collecting. Again, getting good sabers back then was very rare. And like I said, unlike today, everything it's just so readily available. There's just nothing special about getting one. Now it just it just feels different. So hobbies changed so much now. So like everything's so readily available, but not then. Back then it was just so different. I don't know. This is just the thoughts that that came to my mind when watching, when participating in that live podcast. But I don't know. Like I said, Saber hobby has changed quite a bit, technology-wise too, and there's only so much you can actually want in terms of a hilt, because the technology is there. It's just a different body, a different hilt. And like I said, for me, it's just there's only so much I want to collect. When you have a number of hilts that do the same thing but look different, to me, it's like, why? I'd rather be collecting hilts that are different from each other. They have different technologies, for instance. That makes it more interesting for me. That's just me personally. Like, for instance, this one here, my first ever commission, that has an igniter, R5. That's the only hilt that I have that has an igniter. So that makes it really, really special, other than the fact that it's my first ever commission. So and the design itself, steampunk, it's so different from the others. It stands out. But when you have something all the same with all crystals and stuff, and it's all high end, it just, to me, it just cancels itself out. It just looks the same. Like, there's no differentiation other than the hilt design. Because the tech inside is just the same. It's just, so that's why in time after I got into the hobby, those things came to my mind, and so I started limiting my collecting. I wanted some stuff to be very different, so it'll be more special to me in a way, right? And I guess I'll get into that later when I go review some of these hilts that I've acquired over the years. Like, for instance, something that's really special is this one here, Optimus Prime. That was a personal saber commission that I've worked for over 6 years to be realized. Although this was not mine, though. This was Nocturnal Armory's version of Iron Man's lightsaber. Although it's not mine, it just it struck a chord with me too, because again, it's different. It's not of Star Wars. It's like a crossover. So I guess that those things make the collection more interesting, rather than having all the same thing. I don't know if that makes sense, but anyway. But yeah, that's just my. Anyway, those were just my thoughts. I said when watching the video. Can't believe it's been that long. So anyway, yeah, that's it. Anyway, thanks for my rambling. Listening to my rambling, but anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching.